I was sent this story by Craig J, and he titled the email that he sent me "Toxic," and I was like, this can only mean that this story is extremely bad, and indeed it is. And now I can see why he titled it "Toxic." So this person's name is Courtney Lee, and this will definitely be a Strag Tales story. She is, they say she's 24. That's what they say. She looks that's like I've been saying, when it comes to these ages of some of these people, that's a struggling 24. And the reason why she has earned her spot today is because this alleged 24-year-old repeatedly raped a 13-year-old boy and went on to force this 13-year-old to be her boyfriend. We don't have to send a bat signal into the sky to see if the Me Too heifers are going to answer to the call, because we know that they won't. Like I said, a lot of cases where it is women abusing sexually or raping these little are more common than one would think, but they don't get noticed like that. And they should. But let me go ahead and read this article. Courtney Lee was sentenced in Texas on Thursday after failing to share a change of address and failure to register as a sex offender. Lee was sentenced to 10 and 5-year sentences that will be served concurrently. And I had to look up what concurrently was. I feel like by now I should have known what it was. I knew what consecutive was. But basically, it's almost like the judge who did the sentencing felt that they gave them some kind of level of compassion, or they gave them this sentencing because they felt like it wasn't really completely related to other charges that she had attached to her name, which is some bullshit. They should have just gave the shit to her consecutively. And 15 years, she should have got way more, but this goes back into the whole gender thing. If this was a man who did this, he would have got way more years. But because she's a woman, they can't see how she could have possibly did this, and they offer her compassion, and they only give her 15 years. And this is in Texas, y'all. She was originally arrested in 2015 after her and the child called police to report an unspecified incident. Officers who attended the scene became suspicious of Lee's relationship with the boy who told them he was her boyfriend. Lee was 19 at the time and later admitted to having sex with him. The boy was 4 years under the state's age of consent. Lee handed a 10-year probationary sentence the year after being charged, as she told the judge that she suffered from schizophrenia and bipolar disorder. However, she was arrested again in 2017 after cops were told by housemaid George Sapp that she'd move away too without telling them. Lee's latest sentence has had 1,250 days subtracted from the total length due to the time she spent in jail wanting to go to trial. So that's basically time served. She should have got way, way, way more for what she did. Because technically, this woman not only physically violated this boy in a sexual way, but she also brainwashed him into believing that was her boyfriend. You heard what they said when they confronted her back in 2015, that she admitted to what she did, and then the boy came behind her and said that he was her boyfriend. She put that into his head. She planted that into his head. That's why I've always said that when it came to slavery, the physical was one thing, but the mental is another. That's basically what she did to this boy. She mentally enslaved him, and now he's currently 13. Remember, this started when she was 19, and he's 13 now, and she's allegedly 24. So, until they actually really make some true laws when it comes to how women are treated when they do stuff like this, it'll never really change. Because every time I do a story involving a woman who is molesting a child, especially being it a boy, they give them these very light, fluffy sentences. The judge didn't give her consecutive sentencing. He gave her concurrent sentencing. She only got 15 years. if she even serves all of that. That means she'll be out of jail when she's in her 30s, like mid to late 30s. That's nothing. That's absolutely nothing for her, if she even serves all of that time. But had this been a man who did this, he would have got no less than 20 years consecutive. And remember, like I said, this happened in Texas, a state that they are known for stacking on charges. But then again, not only does she have being a woman on her side, she also has you know what on her side too. I don't have to tell you what you know what is. Y'all already know what it is. Either way, this chick is sick, and you can look at her and tell. And then I think the other thing that they tried to use is the fact that she said she was schizophrenic and had bipolar disorder. You know, there it goes again with the mental illness. So you being a schizo and being bipolar made you see this 13-year-old at the time. Well, now he's 13, but at the time he was way younger than 13. That made you see this little boy as your husband, and not your husband, as your boyfriend, that you decided to use for your own sexual pleasures. Right. I need someone to tell me out there who has worked with people who are schizophrenic and bipolar to let me know if you ever ran into somebody, or if you worked with them as a patient, did they ever want to have or take on a child as a spouse or a partner? I'm curious, because I don't think that's one of the symptoms.